All right.
Okay. I'll start the recording. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody, and hello to everybody on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so happy to have you here. Welcome to our Winter 2025 Intern Report-Out. Today, you'll be hearing from 11 of our CDOT interns and a little overview of what you'll be hearing from them today. You'll hear about what they've been working on, what they've accomplished, the people they've helped, and key learnings from their time here at CDOT. My name is Madeline Katz. I'll be leading our report out today. I work in human resources in talent acquisition, and I'm primarily focused on our work-based learning programs. So our internship and fellowship program, our maintenance apprenticeship, and I'm currently creating a couple more as well. CDOT's mission is to provide the best multimodal transportation system for Colorado that most effectively and safely moves people, goods, and information. In order to achieve this mission, we need to have a great team. And a great way to build our team is to hire interns. CDOT interns have opportunities to work on key projects, receive invaluable mentorship, participate in excursions where they can explore different areas of CDOT, and meet so many incredible individuals. Our interns' new perspectives and ideas are a crucial part to our work here at CDOT. In the words of Helen Hayes, the expert at anything was once a beginner. The Intern Report-Out is a 12-year tradition that first started back in 2013. You can see here all the past sessions we've held. This is a great opportunity for our interns to discuss their work and accomplishments in front of our fellow CDOTers and a larger audience. 211 CDOT interns and fellows have reported out over these past 12 years, and our 11 interns today will be continuing this tradition. Starting us off today will be our team from the Office of Process Improvement. We have Sarah Buettner, Taylor Nielsen, Luis Cruz, Hildana Lieben, and Tracy Gage. Then we'll hear from Isabella Smith in the Division of Transportation Development, also known as DTD here at CDOT, their multimodal planning branch. Next up is Corey Bauman, also from DTD in the Office of Applied Research. Then we will have a quick 10-minute break. Dalton Kidder will kick us back off. He's from Region 4, or Greeley, here at CDOT, in their environmental department. Then we'll hear from Joya Alon and Lourdes Trujillo from Human Resources in the Office of Employee Development. And finally, we will have a presentation from Mikey Guanipa in the Office of Innovative Mobility. And now I will hand it off to Gary Vansuch, the Director of the Office of Process Improvement. He'll be running the YouTube live stream today, so he'll be seeing your comments in the chat. And I'll hand it off to you, Gary. Thank you.
Madeline, thank you. Everyone, good morning, good morning. It's another great day to be in Colorado. I'd like to add my welcome to Madeline's. Thank you for joining us today. As Madeline mentioned, I'm Gary Vansuch. I'm officially the Director of Process Improvement here at CDOT. Unofficially, I am the very most fortunate person on the planet for many reasons. I have a wonderful wife. We've been married many years. I have terrific grown children who are making wonderful contributions in education and science. I have a terrific team. You'll be hearing from some of those team members today, the intrepid interns on our team who are working day in and day out to help deliver the products and services we have to our customers. I have the very best job on earth as Director of Process Improvement. And I'm a former intern myself, having served several internships way back in the day with the Oak Ridge Institute of Energy Analysis and with the Westinghouse Electric Corporation. I am absolutely certain that I would not be talking with you today without those internships and without the fabulous mentors I learned from during those internships. One of my intern mentors at Westinghouse, Luis Gaser, was also an engineer. I am too. And I remember her saying frequently that even though that internship was in an engineering function in a very technical organization, the most successful engineers, and frankly, I've learned the most successful folks, remember this simple truth. All businesses, including our business of government, no matter how technical the business seems, all successful businesses remember that it's always about helping other people. Here at CDOT, as Madeline mentioned, our mission is to help people, provide the best multimodal transportation system for Colorado that most effectively and safely moves people, goods, and information. In order to have that best multimodal transportation system, you need the very best people, and we are fortunate to have that at CDOT. There are over 3,300 people at over 200 staff locations in Colorado. And those interns and mentors are part of that wonderful team. Our interns and mentors are those beginners that Helen Hayes talked about. Every expert at anything was once a beginner. They're at the start of their careers, working at CDOT side by side every day with seasoned experts, gaining the hands-on knowledge and expertise to go from being those beginners to become the experts of tomorrow. You'll be hearing from 11 of our terrific interns today. I'm monitoring the chat pane on YouTube, so please send me your comments, questions, of course, and we always love compliments too, and we'll pose those to the interns during the question and answer session. If you feel better sending me an email, you see my email address there too. First up is the team of interns from the CDOT Office of Process Improvement. Sarah, please take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Gary, for that introduction. Madeline, can I have you flip through? Like Gary said, my name is Sarah. I am an intern with the Office of Process Improvement. We're just going to go around real quick and introduce ourselves. I am from Greeley. I graduated from Ames Community College in December 2023. I majored in computer information systems and have certificates in web development, database administration, and web design. I also have a background in graphic design and digital marketing. And I'm hoping to pursue a career in IT change management. Also have hobbies outside of work with gardening and reading. And I'm going to pass it over to Taylor to introduce herself.
Good morning, everyone. I have the fortunate opportunity to be a joint intern, so I work with the Office of Applied Research and Process Improvement. I grew up in Littleton, Colorado, and graduated from the University of San Diego last May with a major in business economics. I specialize in policy analytics and econometrics, and I'm hoping to pursue a career in project management with a focus in analytics. And outside of work, I spend a lot of time cooking and baking and just being outside. And then I'll pass it off to Luis next.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Luis Cruz, and just a little bit about me. I am from Savannah, Georgia. I just recently graduated from Georgia Southern University only a couple of months ago with a degree in marketing. Prior to this position, my background was in marketing, graphic design, and translation. I entered at a marketing firm in Georgia, and in this position, I picked up all those skills. After this internship, I'm hoping to pursue a career in marketing or graphic design. And in my free time, I enjoy snowboarding and skateboarding. I'm excited to bring my experiences to a new line of work, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to learn and be a part of such a great team. And now I'll pass it off to Hildana.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Hildana Lieben, and I'll start off by listing a few facts about me. I'm raised in Aurora, Colorado, and I attended the University of Colorado, Denver, where I majored in political science and minored in ethnic studies. I'm hoping to pursue a career in urban planning, and a few hobbies that I do outside of work is reading and traveling. And I'll pass it off to Tracy.
Good morning, everyone. I am from Rhode Island, and I recently completed a master's at the University of Colorado, Denver in learning design and technology. I have a certificate in learner-centered design and a background in instructional design, education, and web design. And I'm doing this internship because I'm very interested in transitioning into a career in change management. And some of my hobbies are hiking, yoga, somatics, and listening to audiobooks.
So I'm going to start us off by reviewing a little bit about the Office of Process Improvement and what we do. We work to engage everyone every day at CDOT in improving safety, products, and services so that we are more effective and efficient, and to ensure that everyone impacted by change is successful with that change. We do that by helping to build a culture of continuous improvement within the organization, and we value every new idea and work to spread them across CDOT. We do this through three main ways, this being business improvement and change management, innovation and empowerment, and strategy services. And throughout our presentation, you'll hear more about the specific projects that we are working on that contribute to these three main ways.
So as Luis mentioned, one of our lines of services is the Lean Everydays program. So a little about this program is that the goal is to increase participation and improve the user experience with submission and replication. We want to encourage CDOTers to find opportunities to develop improvement projects in the workplace, and we hope to also share these improvement projects across CDOT through our innovations catalog, which can be found on the website. And moving on to the next line of service, or associated to LEI, is the Innovations Challenge. Every innovation submission is automatically a part of the Innovations Challenge, and the purpose of this challenge is to recognize the innovators and how they improve their workflows and environments. We also want to spread these innovations across the rest of CDOT. So we recognize the innovators and hope to promote awareness of the challenge throughout regions. And right now we're working on developing a communications plan to help spread awareness.
So this is a new project I'm currently undertaking, and the goal is to increase awareness of what we do here at OPI by creating videos for our renovated website, which you'll hear more about later on. But there will be video content about 5 different categories, these being intern success stories, concept to project success stories, Lean Everyday Idea success stories, Colorado Change Management Academy success stories, and Colorado Innovation Academy success stories. And this will work by me developing a streamlined process for future interns to be able to produce videos for a renovated website. This streamlined process I am creating will serve as a guide for future interns to create content across the 5 different categories. So this will ensure that there is a consistent stream of content for OPI's renovated website long after my internship ends. And looking ahead, I plan on finalizing this video production guide by the middle of February. Once the video production process is finished, I'll begin creating, editing, and uploading the first set of videos by the end of April. And then after that, I'll be gathering feedback and refining the process and creating content for future uploads and interns.
So one of the contributions I've been working on making to the LEI program is trying to plan a future LEI dashboard. Currently, we don't have a centralized location or place for external users to view any metrics or data on the innovations we have submitted. And internally, we manually track all the innovations coming in, and so this leads to inconsistent reporting. So we're hoping to develop a comprehensive dashboard that users can filter through and we can use to pull reports and people can view online. And I'll pass it off to Sarah to talk about the website redesign.
One of my main projects has been redesigning the process improvement website. So main goal has been to improve user experience. And I've approached it with a global design process, trying to develop a simpler user interface, which will also help improve accessibility. So far have reduced the website content and errors. We've gone from over 400 pages to 13, and also now have no broken links. And also creating that consistent navigation has helped significantly as well, and we'll be able to build out our content a little bit more with Taylor's dashboard, as well as the newsletter content and the videos for the marketing that Luis was talking about. By doing this with the website redesign, we've been able to increase our quality assurance score on Site Improved by 37 points. And thank you, Madeline. So this is an example of the before and after for one of the pages for our innovations challenge. So you can kind of see that we've taken the overcrowded text, some of the multicolored links that's a little bit harder to read on the left, and gone towards, on the right, more bolded headers and easier to see buttons to click on, and visual breaks, trying to make it simpler to navigate, easier to find what you want to find for the award categories and things like that. So trying to make it a little simpler to read, find what you want to find. So looking ahead on the website, we are going to be reinventing the Lean Everyday Ideas database as well. That's going to be a project for Taylor and I, going along with the database and the dashboard. And we're also going to be creating content update procedures for that to help the interns after us to stay consistent. And we're also going to be implementing a new tool search, which Taylor will be talking a little bit more about as well.
So one of the ways I've been helping to support Sarah and all the great work she's done on the website is trying to compile all the tools and resources we have right now. Currently, if you go to the next slide, Madeline, all of our tools and resources are embedded directly on our page, and they only include the title of each resource, and we don't have any way for people to look at a description or search through our resources. So on the next slide, we're hoping to put all of our resources into Looker Studio and make a little tools and resources database. So that way our users can search for a resource, view the details, look at different labels associated with it, and just more quickly find any resource they're looking for. And then I'm going to pass it off to Hildana to talk about C2P.
So C2P is a line of service that launched back in 2021. And the objective of this is to become the one-stop shop for business improvement projects. We have a few goals listed to increase the number of successful business improvement projects at CDOT and to create transparency throughout the current business improvement project process. We hope to essentially help everyone impacted by change be successful in creating that change. I'll pass it back to Taylor.
So this is just a small list of some of the ways we've been helping to support Concept to Project. Our senior program or project manager, Michelle Malloy, is kind of the brains behind Concept to Project. So we've all gotten 3-day ProSci Change Practitioner certified, and we also help to produce change management courses. So on the back end, doing anything to support the facilitator. We help support Michelle's internal project management tracking system. We're helping to develop the C2P strategic plan, and we assist with the quarterly updating process for active projects.
So we are also working on the Colorado Change Management Academy, and the goal of this project is to spread change management across state agencies outside of just CDOT through one approach. We're currently on the stage where where a contract has been in place. So the first phase is complete, and looking forward, we're planning on launching the website and creating a communications plan to spread this across different state agencies.
All right. Another one of my main goals is to spread more awareness about accessibility. It is very important to all of us to ensure that everyone has equal access to our services and information. So our goal is to foster an environment of continuous education. There are new technologies and all the time, and we're also just making sure we want to be caught up with everything. So right now we're continuing to monitor Google Sites, especially. There are some known errors. We're waiting for patching on those. And then we just go through our tools regularly and try and remediate and see if there's anything that manually needs to be checked. We have been actively learning about plain language guidelines, going through, see if anything needs to be remediated there. And then Luis has also been making sure that everything in the newsletter has been following those, and you'll hear more about that later. And then we also enjoy attending additional trainings from outside sources. CDPS puts on some great ones. State of Arizona had a great one recently about accessible forms. And there's actually a really cool one coming up at the end of February. If anyone wants to attend that, ActCon is free as well.
So as Sarah mentioned, this is a project that we've all been working on that we've been really excited to be working on, and that's the Innovation Highway newsletter. It's designed to keep employees across the regions informed and inspired by sharing updates and success stories. And our main goal with it is to foster a culture of innovation and improvement through constant recognition. And this works by each month, me and the rest of the OPI team collaborate to find and curate content for 5 different categories. After that, we all collaborate and write an article for the newsletter. We check for errors, make it accessible, then upload it to the OPI website. Looking ahead for this, I'm hoping to incorporate feedback after every issue and continuing to improve upon it. I want to make it more accessible to people that do not have a computer or phone on them regularly. So that's been a challenge, but I'm looking forward to tackling that on and the issues coming up.
So, like I mentioned at the beginning, I'm a joint intern. So, my main project is with the Office of Applied Research. I've been working to improve external research distribution. So, CDOT receives a lot of external research and survey requests from other state DOTs and other national research agencies. And with the complex organizational structure that exists at CDOT, it's very difficult to find the right recipient. Right now, the main contact for these external research reports and survey requests is the Office of Applied Research. And then my supervisor, Steve Cohn, passes it on based on who he thinks it goes best. So my goal for this project is to overall just continue to encourage people to consume these research reports that are being passed on and participate in survey requests, and also just develop a process to quickly identify the best recipient for these external research reports and survey requests and create a centralized location for the information I've been collecting. So the process I've kind of been following is I've been dissecting the CDOT organizational chart and just kind of the processes that exist at CDOT. And I've also been meeting with various branch managers and employees to identify relevant research topics and kind of what they do in active projects they're involved with. And then I've also been documenting these findings, and based on what I've been discovering, I've developed a personalized flow of information based on the structure and preference of different branches. And then hopefully in the future, we've been brainstorming a way to consolidate all the information into a different system that can be used. And then we've also been considering how to, in the future, continue updating the final product, what other functions might be helpful, and who else in CDOT might find this to be useful. And then we're going to briefly just go around and mention a key takeaway that we've gained so far from our internship. I'll go ahead and start and say that something that I found valuable that I've learned is the value of collaborating and communication. It's been really fun being a part of a team that supports each other so well and works together. It's fun working on projects that involve multiple people and just getting to learn from others at CDOT. And I'll pass it off to Hildana next.
So something I've definitely learned is project management. As you've seen, like we have so many different various projects that we're working on, and then we each play a role in. So just understanding how to prioritize these projects and who to collaborate with for support has been a really important lesson for me. And I'll pass it off to Luis.
One thing I've learned is I've learned the importance of making content accessible to everyone. My projects so far have taught me to create more inclusive content, and as someone who's hoping to pursue a career in marketing, that's been a very important lesson to learn. And I'll pass it off to Sarah now.
One of the key takeaways I've had is the importance of change management. I think that change can be difficult, whether it's personal or professional. So helping people to understand both the need for change and helping folks to adjust to change has been very impactful for me.
So before we close out, we just wanted to say a quick thank you to our mentors, Jamie, Michelle, Gary, and Steve. It has been a pleasure working with them, as well as learning from such esteemed professionals. We are really looking forward to continuous learning and growth from our mentors, and we all really do appreciate the opportunity to be put in this position to learn.
And so thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate your time. And if you have any questions on the projects we're working on or anything else, please feel free to let us know through email. We also have QR codes that you could scan to connect with us on LinkedIn. And thank you again. And I'll pass this off to the next intern, Isabel Smith over at DTD.
Thank you so much. You can go to the next slide. I'm Isabella Smith. I am the multimodal planning intern in the multimodal planning branch of DTD. I'm from Northfield, Minnesota, and I recently graduated from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, where I majored in landscape and urban studies and public health. My background before this was in community development nonprofits and planning and engineering consultants. And outside of work, I love skiing, cooking, and just kind of like livable and walkable cities in general. I'm looking to go into urban planning eventually. Next slide. So one of my main duties throughout my entire internship is supporting the development of the 2050 statewide plan, which involves significant coordination with all of the various TPRs and MPOs as they develop their own regional transportation plans. Eventually, this will involve the integration of all of these plans together into a comprehensive statewide document. Some of the specific tasks that are part of this include updating the transportation planning manual and other supporting documents, like our public engagement guidelines and various TPR bylaws. I'm also responsible for the creation of note templates and taking notes for the variety of meetings involved in this process, such as TPR meetings, stack meeting, transportation commission meetings. So I kind of just transcribe key events and talking points and create a summary to share after with participants. Next slide, please. Another project I've been working on is an analysis of the Multimodal Transportation and Mitigation Options Fund program, also known as MMOF. I'm looking at the collective impact of the program itself and really hoping to highlight some of the completed projects for a deeper analysis of their impacts on the surrounding communities. I'm in the process of creating a report that showcases these findings, kind of providing an overview of the program itself, some broad data points on project type, location, and amount of funding, as well as breaking it down by region and project scope. This has been a really good opportunity to hone my data analysis and design skills, as well as just very important practice in project management. Next slide, please. Lastly, kind of in a similar vein to the previous project, I'm in the early stages of a big project in celebration of the 20th anniversary of the Safe Routes to School program, which is another grant program that CDOT does. This funds projects that support active transportation to and from schools, specifically focusing on elementary schools, but these projects always have a broader impact in the surrounding community. So I'll be capturing the history and impact of this program over the last 20 years through both a report that looks at all of the various projects that have been funded, as well as I'll be interviewing key figures that have contributed to it over the years. And with these interviews, as well as other footage that I've collected, I'll be creating a video that celebrates all of the work done to promote walking, biking, rolling to school. This project will involve significant outreach, and another aspect that we're hoping to do is to organize a competition for students at all of these various affected schools to design a sticker or a poster to be shared in the fall during the statewide walk, bike, or roll to school day. So that will involve some sort of like raffle prize, a lot of communication with the various schools as well. Colorado's always been a leader in the program, but we're hoping this initiative can propel us to the very top in terms of participation. So I still have a ways to go and so much to learn, but so far this internship has been an incredible opportunity to experience the decision-making process and gain more of a comprehensive understanding of transportation planning at the state and local level. I've been able to meet with and learn from so many talented people throughout CDOT, and I've seen firsthand just how important effective communication and coordination are, as there are just so many countless moving parts in every project that we have a hand in. I've also gained a better understanding of various funding sources and project processes, as well as public and stakeholder engagement strategies. Throughout my work here, I've been able to further develop crucial skills, including project management, communication, research, data analysis, design, more and more. In general, I want to give a huge thank you to Kathleen Collins, Aaron Willis, and everyone else in the multimodal planning branch for being just so welcoming and eager to help me learn and grow. So thank you all. And now I am going to pass it off to Corey Bauman in the Office of Applied Research.
Hey, thank you, Isabella. Good morning to everyone. Thanks for joining us for the Intern Share-Out. I'm Corey Bauman. My internship was in the Office of Applied Research. First off, I'd like to make many thanks to my dedicated mentor, Tien Tran. I realize I don't have a typical intern profile, but a career pivot brought me here. A long time ago, I studied philosophy, which is how you end up in the Navy getting rid of bombs. More recently, I completed a certificate in data science and a degree in industrial design. Next slide. My primary role at CDOT was to remediate the last 3 years of research reports for accessibility. I also led an intern excursion to the Eisenhower Tunnel and took advantage of as much CDOT staff knowledge as I could to help complete the capstone transportation project for my degree. I'll cover the side gigs first and then dive into accessibility. Ever since I was a child, I was fascinated by the Eisenhower Johnson Tunnel. It's a remarkable feat of engineering, and it was fascinating to get a look under the hood. I want to make special thanks to Gary Vansuch in OPI for facilitating these kinds of excursions. I think they were excellent. Prior intern William Mitchell, who initiated the project, and especially Paul Fox, the Region 1 tunnel manager, who took the time to give us a great tour. Next slide. While interning, I also finished up my final class for degree in industrial design at Metro State University here in Denver. My capstone project asked the question, can we improve reporting of transportation hazards? You see these pictures and you have to ask yourself, like, if you saw something like this, would you take time to report it? Branches growing across, slightly covering a sign. There's a stop sign that I pass every day on my way home that looks like this. Who would you contact? So there are many reporting solutions in the market, such as web tools, accident reporting on Google Maps, 311, vehicles telematics sensors, and V2X systems. However, after interviews with many experts at CDOT, Dr. Cog, Denver Office of Transportation and Infrastructure, I felt that there was room for improvement, and I developed a prototype of a hardware button for fleet vehicles that allowed reporting of location, a quick video snippet of the area, and a voice memo with a single button press. The system could be a standalone telematics device or an add-on to ecosystems like Geotab that CDOT already uses. The reports can be summarized, categorized, and routed to appropriate maintenance supervisors using simple local AI. Next slide. Special thanks to those who took time out of their busy schedules to share their expertise with me for this project. From CDOT, that was Kay Kelly, Gary Vansuch, Heather Pickering-Hilders, Marissa Gahn, Aaron Willis, and Sean Smith. Also like to thank Emily Lindsay from Dr. Cog, and Rolf Eisinger and Victor Barela from Denver's Office of Transportation and Infrastructure. Next slide. All right, now on to my main squeeze, accessibility. How would you describe this slide to a blind person? Most of you probably know you would add some alt text to the image, but what would you say? For the purposes of this presentation, I said a flowchart diagram of a complex machine learning algorithm. There are 6 complex equations above the flowchart. But when the figure is the point of a research document, a more complete description must be given. Next slide. How about this one? Maybe someone in the audience knows what this equation means. I certainly do not. But how would you faithfully describe it in words only? Next slide. Here is a single figure, but wait, it's actually 2 scatter plots, 2 bar charts, 1 data table, and multiple blocks of descriptive text. CDOT commissions many technical research reports every year that are filled with these and many other kinds of difficulties. My job was to make the reports accessible to the WCAG 2.2 levels A and 2A standard per CDOT's PD 31.1 so that we can share the knowledge gained with as many readers as possible. I bet all of you envy me right now. Next slide. During my time at CDOT, I remediated over 1,100 pages like this, technical research reports from the last 3 years, providing consulting for ongoing research reports to project managers and investigators. And I'm now working on improving templates, forms, and checklists to help with the process after I leave. Next slide. So I hope that my efforts have improved the quality of reports for end users and helped PMs and investigators to focus on their primary research tasks. Next slide. So what have I learned from all this? Even though laws at both the federal and state levels have recognized the importance of digital accessibility to participate in our modern world, the tools to do this haven't really caught up. Our reports are published as PDF files. This format was designed as a print standard, and it's taking time to evolve into a platform for online accessibility. Adobe Acrobat and Microsoft Word both have accessibility features, but when it comes to these kinds of complex documents, they're buggy and they don't play nicely with one another. Additionally, accessibility software such as popular screen readers like JAWS and NVDA will read the same content in different ways. The ecosystem of tools for accessibility is evolving, but can be very frustrating. So communication is hard for everyone. Philosophers argue about whether it's possible for people at all. And I'm sure we can all think of some personal examples where what we were trying to say just didn't come across clearly. Accessibility guidelines try to help standardize our communications to address common difficulties, such as blindness, low vision, dyslexia. But even people who share those conditions have different strategies and styles for learning and communication. Next slide. Trying to say that everyone in a given box has the same needs often leads to groupthink and blanket policies for organizations around accessibility. Italics are a great example of this. I never thought in my life that I would care about the use of italics, but here I am. WCAG does not explicitly prohibit them, but many organizations do because quote, they're not accessible. People have always used them for emphasis, for taxonomy, to show hierarchy of headings, to designate the titles of books. Arguments against their use seem to fall into 2 categories. One, that some screen readers don't announce that something is in italics by default, and so their use for emphasis may be lost. Or 2, a study found that large blocks of italic text was harder for dyslexic readers to read. Balancing the standard uses of these concerns could lead to a policy of judicious use, especially for emphasis, but it often seems easier for an organization to ban their use entirely. However, this path reduces communications for most users, including, anecdotally, dyslexic ones, by taking away visual cues that can help brains organize written content. Next slide. In the end, I found that accessibility, like justice of all kinds, it has an aspirational element. We're trying to achieve a higher level of civility and social participation because it raises all of our boats. Sometimes, though, this feels like a balancing act between competing needs. But as with communication, we have to believe it's possible and keep trying to improve. So I think if we all remember that it's imperfect and it requires everyone to extend some goodwill and grace, we'll make things more accessible to everyone. Next slide. So I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, please throw them in the chat, ask them in the Q&A at the end. Now we're going to take a 10-minute break, well deserved for you listeners, and then return for some more stellar intern share-outs. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Corey. Everybody, we can come back at, let's see, 10:21. We'll all meet back. Thank you. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay. So to kick us back off, we have Dalton Kidder from Region 4 in Environmental in Greeley. Take it away, Dalton.
Thank you. Okay. Am I coming through all right? I'm gonna assume I am and just keep talking. All right. Now, I know what you're all probably thinking. You're thinking, boy, I'd love to know a bunch of useless personal information about this guy. Well, you're in luck. I've got a whole slide dedicated to that right here. I am an intern in Region 4 Environmental. This is actually my last day. So I've gone the whole 9 months. So I'm going to talk mostly about kind of some of the stuff that I've gotten to do. I grew up in Colorado, native here. A little bit about me. I'm passionate about graphic design. You can see me on the right there enjoying some art. I consider myself a bit of a creative type. In my spare time, I'm a local rapping legend in Searcy, Arkansas. That's where I went to school. You can see me and my gang down there in the bottom in the shower stall. So that's just a little bit about me, some of what I like to do. If you'll roll the next one. Okay. So as far as my professional background, biology is what I went to school for. It's what I got my degree in. So anyway, here's a bunch of pictures of me holding snakes and things. So this was my background. This is what I knew. This is what I was good at. And so naturally, I applied to a water quality position at CDOT. And by some divine intervention, they agreed to interview me. That is I think that's when they figured out that I was not at all qualified for the job. But it was kind of too late for them because I already won them over with my charm. So they asked me if I wanted to be an intern instead, which I accepted. So it's been a bit of a story from there. So real quick, this is a lot of people don't know that this technology exists in Google Slides, but it's super cool. So this is a live updated number of the number of times that I've been tasked with something I'm familiar with or something I might already know how to do. So go ahead and put that up if you would, Madeline. Ooh, okay. All right, so it looks like that number is still 0. But if that changes by the end of the day, I'll let y'all know. But in all seriousness, this has actually been a huge blessing. Super, super nice. I've gotten to add so many different new tools to my tool belt and learn all sorts of things. And Region 4 has been great in kind of letting me take off and learn some new things about the industry, and everything that I've been able to work on here has really helped me develop. Now, just for the sake of not giving the people that work here more flowers than they deserve, most of the things they asked me to do those because they also didn't know how to do them. So, it benefited them as well. But, kind of a win-win. So that was good. If you could keep it rolling. Okay. I'm going to talk to you guys about kind of the 3 main projects that I've worked on. I've done lots of little stuff here and there, but these are kind of the big ones. First one I'll talk about is aquatic organism passage. That's mostly fish passage. So, whenever CDOT puts a structure up, a lot of times they mess up the waterway and don't put it back exactly right, which can separate fish habitat. So I built out our process there a little bit. And then I also built a not-so-sweet identification tool. I'll talk about how our process there needed some work and how I kind of bolstered it. And then the last thing is the bat study that Jason Roth put together. I got to shout him out here. I think it was like a year and a half, 2 years ago, he submitted a proposal for this study to the research branch at CDOT. And he was awarded the money to do the study, which, if my information is correct, is the first time that that money has ever been awarded internally. So pretty big deal. And it's mostly due to Jason Roth. And I've been part of the team that's been carrying that out. It's been awarded. All right, so let's get started with aquatic organism passage. So my supervisor, Vanessa, came to me and she said, hey, CDOT's kind of bad at this and people are starting to notice. So maybe let's get on it. I said, okay, well, what do we know about it? And that's it. That's what we know. We know to ask Parks and Wildlife. The problem is that Parks and Wildlife tends to also not know anything about it. They could, but they have a lot on their plate. And a lot of times it's just kind of not on their radar. So in my early sort of communication with them, thank you. They directed me towards this map that they provided CDOT who knows how long ago. And I know, sorry, I know the contrast maybe isn't great, but you can see kind of the red lines all across Colorado. They've highlighted areas on our roads that they think might cause problems for fish passage. And I said, okay, that's great. But there's really nothing on this map besides the locations. This is a screen cap here of the pop-up if you click on one of those spots. And it's just location metadata, basically. So it's just the locations, which would be helpful for us, except I know from experience that if we go on a site visit to one of these locations and ask CPW, okay, we know that you guys care about this location. What do you want to do here? They have no idea what we're talking about. So they don't look at this map, which renders it kind of useless. So that's where I wanted to start and what I wanted to do. I said, okay, let's make this map something that people actually want to look at. So I utilize Survey 123, which is a Esri application if you're not familiar. If you're not using Survey 123 for like field visits and site surveys, you're really just wasting a lot of time and paper. Survey 123 is awesome. I highly, highly recommend it. Super easy to build and use. You just plug and play with the questions you want. And so this is kind of just a screen cap of mine. I wrapped up fish passage into SB40. That's a programmatic agreement between CDOT and CPW saying that we're not going to screw up waterways that they care about. And a lot of SB40 information is also like wetlands and kind of surrounding habitat. So I kind of decided to get all of that information along with fish passage, which is rolled into SB40. So I did that. And I ended up just in Region 4, there were 147 different little red lines. So I visited them all and filled out my survey at each of them. And now it's got some more useful information. So if you direct your attention to the screen cap that I have on my map with the pop-up, it's got more useful information. And you can see that's just like with the little scroller on the side there, that's just a little bit. I captured a lot more information than even what's pictured in that single frame of the pop-up. My friend Gray, who's also an intern here in Region 4 Environmental, she helped me overlay all of my survey information onto this map. So all of the red lines are exactly how CPW had them. They're just now contain all this useful information. So the idea is that we'll look at this map early in scoping. It's already incorporated into our scoping checklist. And so going forward, we'll be able to approach CPW with this kind of already set information. We'll say, hey, we know this about the site. Does any of that sound like something you'd want to change? What do you want us to be careful of? And then hopefully that can kind of kickstart conversations a little earlier. Maybe we'll have better luck getting funding incorporated before it's too late, and things like that. So that's what I did for AOP. On to Colorado noxious weeds. If you're not aware, there is a noxious weed list kept and maintained by the Department of Agriculture. It's split into 3 different categories. So they list A, noxious weeds, which you have to get rid of. They're considered really bad. List B, which is like, kind of just don't let them get out of control. And then list C, which is just like, they're out there and they suck and, just know that. So naturally, CDOT only cares about list A and B. It's the only ones they're legally required to care about. So it's the only ones that matter for our intents and purposes. So again, my supervisor, Vanessa, came to me and said, hey, we need a better process for noxious weeds. We can contract kind of that process out, but we really only do that for big projects. We don't do it for the small projects. So it kind of ends up that not a whole lot gets done on the small projects about them. So I said, okay, so not much is getting done about them. So why? Well, no one really knows how to identify them. It's hard to mitigate for and regulate noxious weeds if you don't even know what they look like. So I said, okay, well, that should be an easy fix. What tools are there for identification? Shockingly few. CDA has like a good web page for it, but no one's pulling these weeds and bringing them back into their house and getting on the internet to see what it is. You want to be able to look at it in the field and see what you've got, right? So I said, okay, well, that's where I'll start. We got to get some sort of identification tool. So that's what I did. I built an identification tool combining a dichotomous key and then sort of a profile page for each weed. Between this day and B, there are 58 weeds. So if you don't know what a dichotomous key is, here's an example. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure, but for species identification. So, it's like if your plant has these characteristics, go this way, different characteristics go this way. And once you get to a species through that process, it will direct you to a kind of profile page, and that's obviously too small to read, but as what I want you guys to see is it's got the pictures on it, it's got the key identification characteristics, and some more just kind of relevant information wrapped up in there. I do want to give a shout out to the Department of Agriculture. I was by no means like a weed expert. I just took all the information from their site and made it a much more usable form, something you could open up in the field and actually use. So that's what I was able to do for our noxious weed management. Now, lastly, for the bat study, this was done by a huge team. I mean, I'm really a small contributor compared to the group at large. I did go to some bridges and look for evidence of bats using them. You can see there's a picture of a bat hanging out in our structure right there. Also use Survey 123 for that, but kind of my main unique contribution to this study was data analysis. For how many scientists we have at CDOT, it's kind of shocking how few of them know how to do data analysis. That was delegated to me, and I kind of relearned that a little bit, and I used RStudio for all of the statistical analyses and stuff and drew up a report. If you're not familiar, RStudio is just coding software that's really, really good for statistical analyses and things like that. And it's super easy to use if you know how to code, which I do not know how to code, but we figured it out. So if you would, okay. So that is pretty much what I worked on. Before I sign off, though, I do want to perform a rap about CDOT that I prepared. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm definitely not doing that. But big thanks to the Region 4 Environmental Department. You guys were great. Super, super helpful in my professional development and just giving me a place to go. So big shout out to everyone in this region. And it is now my pleasure to introduce to you Lourdes and Joya from the Office of Employee Development, Human Resources Department. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Dalton. Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here today to speak about our intern experience with the Office of Employee Development. But just to give myself a quick introduction, my name is Joya Alon, and I'm actually originally from Sacramento, California. I recently graduated, though, from CU Denver with my BA in psychology, but I hope to eventually pursue my master's in industrial organizational psychology. In my spare time, though, I love to bake, and I also have 3 cats, which are pictured to the right, that take up the rest of my time and energy. Hey, Lourdes, can you give yourself an introduction?
Thank you, Joya. My name is Lourdes Trujillo, and I'm a Colorado native, currently pursuing my degree in Human Resource Management at Metropolitan State University here in Denver. My hobbies are cooking traditional Mexican meals, and I'm learning how to bake. I'm also a mother to a very active 2-year-old, and he joins me to campus each day to go to his daycare. Joya, can we hear more about the Office of Employee Development?
Of course. On screen are all the initiatives that OED is involved in. A big part of OED is giving all CDOT employees the opportunity to develop themselves professionally and personally. To help all people, we also manage Learning Lane, CDOT's training website, which gives all employees easy access to information and training that is most helpful to them. Most CDOT training is available in the State of Colorado Loans training portal, CDOT's system of record for training. We also sponsor the reimbursement program to aid the out-of-pocket cost of educational and professional pursuits. Let's explore our weekly intern duties.
As interns, here's an overview of what a typical 35-hour work week looks like for us. Mainly, our focus is administering the reimbursement program to ensure requests meet PD 1262.1, and we act as the main point of contact. We reimburse tuition, certifications, licenses, and memberships to full-time and permanent part-time employees. In fiscal year 24, we approved 419 requests. So far in fiscal year 25, we have approved 121. Another good chunk of our time is spent creating, managing, and remediating web pages in Learning Lane, while building them with accessibility in mind. Confirmed this year, Colorado's government websites are the most accessible in the United States, and we are proud to contribute to that. We also spend time in SOC Learns, remediating courses and their descriptions, testing new or updated e-learnings, and processing reports. In our miscellaneous section, this is where we have time left over to aid our team members in ongoing projects like editorial review of HR communications. With TETP, we get to explore Adobe Connect and their courses, as well as other time left over to shadow other HR departments like employee relations, talent acquisition, benefits, and HR systems. Joya, can we hear about your contributions to OED?
Yes, thank you, Lourdes. As I'm wrapping up my internship, here are the projects that I've been involved with. I have helped remediate 26 Google Slide presentations, which notably includes hiring the best, performance management, and new employee orientation. With my CDOT acronym project, I originally discovered an outdated Excel sheet on the Employee Hub, which was last updated in 2019 with only 182 acronyms. My goal with this project was to create a resource that allowed all of our company acronyms to be in one place. The sheet is now revamped with our team regularly monitoring and updating it. I had the honor of being able to moderate 2 classes. I really enjoyed being behind the scenes and seeing how much preparation goes into each class, from organizing participant materials to devising breakout group activities. My duties, though, primarily included handling polls, tracking attendance and participation, as well as monitoring the chat for any questions from participants. I also had the pleasure of researching an AI tool called Scribe, which helps streamline the workflows for OED. I got the opportunity to present and lead a walkthrough for the OED team on how to use the tool, shortcuts and tips, as well as resources available. I even produced a comprehensive user guide for beginners and created the Learning Lane page for Scribe. Throughout my internship, I was able to take 6 classes from our leadership journey, in which my favorite class was 7 Habits. Ultimately, though, I feel that each class provided fundamental and essential skills that you can apply to all areas of life, whether that is achieving your own personal goals, improving your relationship not just with yourself but others around you, or how to collaborate with others professionally. I was most surprised as an intern that I was able to enroll and participate in these classes. It truly made me appreciate OED's commitment to providing growth and opportunity to every employee. Next slide, please. As I reflect on my internship experience, there are several key takeaways that stand out. For one, learn by doing and excel through experience. There were many instances in my internship where I was able to be hands-on with my learning, from exploring other areas of HR to leading my own projects. To the right, I'm actually pictured practicing in a simulator that our heavy equipment operators use before going out into the field. Collaboration fuels success. Watching OED operate as a structured, communicative team reinforced how collaboration drives both efficiency and innovation. By leveraging each other's strengths, we problem-solved effectively and created a dynamic learning environment. Adapt and deliver. Seeing our mentors continuously adapt to new technology and content updates was inspiring. Specifically, the ability to stay ahead ensured that all classes remained relevant, engaging, and high quality. The preparation behind each class, on average for every 1 hour of instruction, there are 3 hours of prep time. This highlights the dedication and adaptability required to meet the evolving needs of our workforce. Intentional design matters. Focusing on accessibility made me more aware of how seemingly small design choices can make a big difference. By providing alternative text for screen readers and writing in plain language, we create a more engaging and equitable experience. Lastly, find the big rocks. This is a bit of a sneak peek into a leadership journey for the Class 7 Habits, but essentially, the most important things need to get done first, or they won't get done at all. Whether that is a project you want to accomplish, spending time with family and loved ones, teaching or mentoring others, prioritize what matters to you. All these lessons will guide me throughout my career. I'm truly grateful for CDOT's internship program. What about your key takeaways, Lourdes?
Thanks, Joya. I'm almost halfway through my internship, and there's much ahead I look forward to. I hope to enhance my skills in data entry and analysis, communication, accessibility, web design, and more. OED provides many opportunities to take initiative in, like my professional development through leadership courses. I recently completed Level Up Productivity, which allows me to grow as an individual, team member, and a leader. I have the pleasure of meeting with other HR professionals in CDOT where I get to connect with them, learn about their roles and responsibilities. There are certifications like Society of Human Resource Management Certified Professional and SAP/ERP certifications that I will gain that will help advance my career while earning my degree. Additionally, our LinkedIn Learning through SOC Learns actually have prep classes for these. When I get to collaborate on our team's public announcements, I'm practicing in AP style, which strengthens my awareness of our readers and enhances my communication skills. Starting with CDOT is a treasured experience that will forever contribute to my future successes. Lastly, a big thank you to our mentors. for guiding, supporting, and providing so many learning experiences for us to grow from. OED truly leads by example, and we are proud to have contributed and be a part of their impact.
There is such a plethora of opportunities to aid in OED, and we are grateful for this internship and hope to return to the state to contribute to CDOT's mission and care for our people each day. Please feel free to reach out and stay in touch on LinkedIn, and thank you for your time today. I will now pass it off to Mikey Guanipa from the Office of Innovative Mobility.
Hi, and good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you all for presenting. I know I'm the last one, so I just have to say thank you, Madeline and everybody else for organizing this. I'm super appreciative, of course, this being rolled out and being able to present, but also just for CDOT as an organization to actually have these opportunities for people like myself and others to really make an impact across the organization, but also just to learn so much and connect to people. I have my presentation kind of divided into 7 parts, so I'll try to make this as quickly as possible because we've all been kind of talking for the past few hours. And yeah, let's get started. Next slide, please. It's a little bit about myself. So I'm originally from Denver, Colorado, but I actually moved over to Birmingham, Alabama when I was around 7 or 8 years old. I've been living back in Denver for about a year now, and I studied civil engineering at the University of Alabama at Birmingham. Based in terms of my background, I worked at the DOT over there in roadway design and then later the MPO. So kind of new from especially that experience. I just really loved working at DOTs and being involved with the community there, of course, across the state and just all the different parts and cogs that make just a state run for us to be able to, go to our recreation activities and go to our businesses and travel, etc. Kind of continuing back to myself though, in terms of my hobbies and passions, I'm really into sustainability, environmental justice, and urban planning. Basically, if you walk by my desk, a good quarter of the time, you'll probably have me watching some kind of video just to continue informing and educating myself because especially with the space, there's just so much work we can do and just learn not only from our peers, but around the state and country and the world in terms of making it more equitable. So love doing that. In terms of my just personal hobbies, I have a weird one of watching bad movies. So lower the score, I typically just click on it. So Tubi is like a great platform for that, by the way. Cooking new recipes and trying new foods. And then I always spend time with hanging out with my friends. And then my adopted cat son, I realized that I'm not a cat, Charlie. So yeah, that's what I kind of do. And before I continue in terms of what I've been doing through OIM, I just want to give a brief kind of shout out to the leadership and my colleagues and what OIM actually does. So this is copied from our actual website page. So our mission is to reduce pollution in our air and congestion on our roads by expanding multimodal transportation options, utilizing traditional and emerging mobility technologies. We kind of have like 5 big branches of our work. So the OIM grants, mobility technology, mobility services, electrification and energy, and transit and rail. Oh, next slide. And then in terms of what I actually do, I work in mobility services and electrification and energy branch under Lizzie Lazaraga and Mike King. Next slide. Main thing with especially the leadership, I'm just super grateful I've been able to work with them for the past several months. They've taught me so much in terms of just the inner workings of what we're striving to do in Colorado, but also just made a really great team for me to learn so much and collaborate with. And I really can't thank them enough for them taking a chance on me when I applied. Additional shout out to my actual colleagues. So going kind of top to bottom there, Thomas Joyce, Ronaldo Marstani, Kyle Arnold, Andrew Gillespie, George Cromt, and John Marcantonio, and then also Joseph Jocelyn, who's not pictured there. They've just been super, super welcoming in terms of when I've actually started and allow me to use my previous expertise, but also learning from theirs to really be dived into these projects and being more into coordination with making sure everything's kind of done smoothly. They've just been super great people, again, just to work with, and I really have enjoyed just talking to them and the experiences we have shared. Now, in terms of my actual work, I kind of have three pillars in terms of what I've actually been doing. So department wide, and then also like through CDOT and also through the actual branches. When I first started working at OIM, Kay Kelly, who's our lead, director, she said the big goal that she wants OIM to have is to be more involved in actual operations throughout CDOT. So with my previous experiences doing roadway design, especially in MPO, I remember always looking back at those manuals and those actual documents to be able to pull things from and actually guide our processes. So when I first started, the first thing that was kind of, shown to me was the Bustang Mobility Hub Design Manual and Standards. This was done something through ACOM, but also our DTR team with really just a future goal of having mobility hubs, having certain, qualifications and objectives for them to be done. So what I did with that was I actually talked to people not only through OIM, but outside of it, just to facilitate comments and actually have them put into the manual. Thankfully, a lot of them actually did going through, and they actually came back into later projects. So that's something I'm super grateful that I was a part of. And it was kind of like the first step of, this process I really wanted to be an endeavor on. The next thing was the transportation planning manual. So I met Phil Von Hake actually at the ACT conference after party, who told me they were conducting this manual a few months ago, and he was involved with especially our TDM strategies. And I was like, hey, why don't we put more of OIM's objectives into that? And that's what we did. So if you currently look at that manual, you can see the references, the TDM kind of strategies there. That was something that I coordinated with and made sure I was involved with that. So incredibly grateful that hopefully future planners can see that, contact our department, and then have those strategies put into place whenever they're designing, their next street or, reformatting, etc. One of the other things I helped out with in terms of the manuals was the project development manual, which just got published earlier this month. So very grateful that this actually got finished up. Basically, this is an easy to use guide for engineers. So whenever they're making any type of roadway design or bridge work, right away, etc., they can actually look through that and get some, how to in terms of their design processes. I made sure that OIM was basically just involved in those manuals. So if you look through there, you can actually see our department now listed as a good resource, and made sure things that are statewide, objectives like TDM and micromobility is actually in that manual too. So critically grateful for that. Last two things in terms of what I've been doing department-wide was the 1601 travel demand management document. So for this, I basically just put in some comments to make sure that TDM and electric micromobility and improved pedestrian and bicycle facilities was actually mentioned in that. So again, kind of one of those core documents that hopefully engineers and such can look through and have that kind of design in there. And lastly was the TDM engineering training video. So that was done through Ronaldo and Tom and several other people throughout CDOT. And basically I kind of gave my input as a, previous roadway design engineer of like, hey, maybe put this in there so then the engineering brain can, use this and kind of facilitate that into their actual projects. And we've published it on YouTube, so please check that out, of course, if you're interested. And it's just a good way to kind of get that sort of initiative again done in our actual projects. Taking a step back though, in terms of the individual branches I've been working with though, with mobility services, the first thing I actually did, I think it was my first day actually, was the Chatfield e-bike program. It was super cool because I can't think of any other great first day you could possibly have where you basically took a road trip down to Chatfield State Park and saw the governor and saw the e-bikes that were deployed, etc. Sadly, that did not continue. So this program actually does no longer exist, but it was still really cool. And I helped develop the final report by looking at Drop Mobility's analytics and compiling the data and then putting that into the report itself. So if this were to continue, especially in some type of, way, I had my little stamp in terms of, that being developed. After this, though, the next thing I'm kind of ongoing with is the Federal Boulevard BRT and Colorado BRT project. Basically, I'm helping out in terms of with assisting the BRT team to make this project as equitable possible. So making the scope of work, but also collaborating with our Noise, which is a local nonprofit to make sure that voices are heard. And then the other thing I'm working on currently is the Longmont Mobility Hub art project. So this was something I was approached from Tom Joyce. Basically, he needed help in terms of getting some actual art put on the mobility hub. So this was really cool because, especially coming from my background, never really dealt with art, and I personally don't feel like I'm an artistic person at all. So having that ability to kind of, at least get people together in the community and making some type of initiative to develop that was really awesome. We're currently in the process of making a committee for it. So baby steps, and we're hoping to have like a full deployment later this year. And I'm excited to see where this is going. And in terms of my final work I've been doing with electrification and energy with Mike King, first thing I started with was the CFI and RFI grant program. So kind of collaborating with the Colorado Energy Office to make sure that supporting metrics were accurate and completed when we were looking at all those grantees applying to it. One of the other things that are ongoing right now is the ZEV planning grant. So this was done with Joe Jocelyn and also the CTE staff of basically coordinating with different cogs around the state and also transit agencies to really get them the idea of thinking about, hey, maybe we can actually deploy zero emission vehicles in our surrounding area. This was a great opportunity because there's a lot of places around Colorado that I simply haven't visited or never even heard of. So being able to meet with people, especially their kind of mindsets and what they're thinking about, especially with this initiative, especially with Colorado being a massive state, like you have just different pockets of thinking and just different ideas. So being able to talk to people and collaborate and just talk with them about what they see in the future was just a really great thing that I had an experience with. My other thing I've been working with electrification and energy is currently the CDOT public charging initiative. This is still very, very new. So basically right now I had an idea that came to me from Mike King and Kyle Arnold, which was like, hey, we have all these documents and facilities around the state where people are now buying more and more electric vehicles. Where's the state's rules and actually, having chargers available for people? So right now we had our first like two big meetings about, what's the ideal outcome of this? What can we actually do in terms of starting up this initiative? And my help that I aided with was just, looking at those documents, kind of going back to that mobility hub manual I made earlier and actually seeing the things that was submitted for it, and then just collaborating with everybody to see what's the best next steps. And yeah, that's kind of like the main stuff I just been doing around OIM. I have a whole email folder of like 20 other things, but again, just been super grateful for especially all these abilities and stuff I was able to help out with. I would say the big skills I acquired just working here was come from my background, engineering brain. We don't really do a lot of communication, so just being able to talk to people a lot better, and especially through memos and documentation and SEAs, that's something that I'm incredibly grateful for just having the opportunity to deal with. Another thing I was extremely grateful for was the NEPA training being done by Troy and his team, environmental. That's something that dabbled in a bit, of course, too, but I feel like everyone should have some type of experience with because it really does help you, especially, making sure things are equitable and following the federal guidelines a lot. So extremely, happy I was able to be in that, and I got certification. So, another bonus from being in that training, I guess. And then, of course, just more project coordination and management experience. My big takeaways in terms of just working at OIM and CDOT was really just the importance of having this type of position open and internships and being with mentors. I think that's something, especially in, anyone's career, you never know who you're going to be with, a month down the road or even a year or 10 years. So especially just meeting all these different people and networking is something I'm infinitely happy that I was able to do, and then just collaborating with everybody. So being able to get, people from, the environmental office or environmental justice, et cetera, to actually work with you and get their perspectives, I think it really just makes a better quality project and something I'm going to take from me. And last thing I can especially say with the experience is just how amazing Colorado is. So especially living here, it's a little bit harder, of course, to see, in our little bubble of what we're actually doing, but Colorado's just on a great track of making a lot of progress. And I'm infinitely happy to be living back here and everybody who's making this state great. But yeah, this is my contact information. So there's my state and personal email, my LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me. And I'm, again, just super happy that Madeline and everybody was able to organize this. Thank you. And then back to you, Madeline, of course.
Thank you so much, Mikey. That was awesome. Thank you to all of our interns. These were fantastic presentations. Thank you all for the hard work that went into these. And we also want to give a final huge thank you to all of the mentors that our interns have identified as helping them along the way in their journey here at CDOT. As Steven Spielberg said, the delicate balance of mentoring someone is not creating them in your own image, but giving them the opportunity to create themselves. All right, so along with all of the other mentors that our interns have mentioned during their presentations, we want to give special shout outs to these mentors. From the Office of Process Improvement, Michelle Malloy, Jamie Joy, Gary Van Such. From DTD, or the Division of Transportation Development, Kathleen Collins, Dean Tran, and Steve Cohn. From Region 4 in Greeley, their Environmental Department, Vanessa Santasteven. From the Division of Human Resources in the Office of Employee Development, AJ Segonia, Brian Hayes, Gail Rafferty, Allison Wilson, Cindy Simpson, Andrew Salazar, Jordan Esales, Riley Black, and Stacy Wilderman. And from the Office of Innovative Mobility, Lily Lizarraga, Mike King, and Thomas Joyce. Thank you, mentors. Your mentorship and guidance is invaluable and an essential piece of our internship program here at CDOT. We couldn't do it without you. So now we will move into our Q&A session. Gary is going to be monitoring the YouTube comment section. So feel free to drop any questions, any comments, or any compliments you have for our interns that have presented here today, and Gary will read them out to our group.
And Madeline, thanks. There has been a lot of activity on the excuse me, on the YouTube chat pane. And for those of you on Zoom, please feel free to unmute or put things in the Zoom chat pane. Let me read a few from the YouTube chat pane. Lily, who you just mentioned in DTD, Lily says, "We love Mikey so much. He is looking for full-time work, by the way." And if I could just interject here, everybody that's listening in live and through the recording, all of our internships are term limited by state law. And all of our interns are looking for that next job. So if you have, thoughts for one or more of our folks, please put them in the chat pane. If you're live, please feel free to send those to me or to Madeline. You've got our email addresses elsewhere in the presentation here. All of our folks are looking for that next position. You heard Dalton say this is his last day. Again, congratulations on a very successful internship, Dalton. I know a few other folks like Corey are finishing up their internships in the next month or so. So this is a plug. Please do hire our interns. They are doing wonderful stuff. A few other comments. Anjanette Segona from our CDOT HR group says, "Bravo, Joey and Lourdes. That's terrific presentations." Inexperience, that's an interesting screen name. Inexperience says, "Great projects and progress. Proud of all of you for being part of CDOT." So that's terrific. Corey Niemeyer. Corey Niemeyer is the Director of Operational Excellence at another department, Colorado Department of Public Safety. And by the way, for those of you that are interns, he was in your shoes here at CDOT back in 2016 and 17. Corey added in Thanks, CDOT team, for all that you do and how passionate you are about making our government better. Being dyslexic, you are spot on about how italics make it harder to read. I also find all caps difficult. Corey, thanks for your thoughts on that. I do have a few other comments I need to go to my other screen for. From Michelle Malloy, who's here at CDOT. She says, "Go team OPI, great job. I am so very proud of all of our interns." Michelle, thank you for that. Those are the comments that I have so far coming in from the live chat feed on YouTube. If you have other comments, please do put them in. We'll read them out. And I do want to open it up to see if there are folks online. We have interns, but we also do have other folks online here on Zoom. Do you want to unmute and ask any questions, or again, provide comments for our interns?
Well, I could jump in. This is my second time seeing the readout or the report out. It's one of my favorite things at CDOT. I'm just so impressed with all you do, the variety and breadth of areas that you work in, the fact that you make a significant and lasting impact in your time here, and really key areas. I mean, I heard change management, this commitment to innovation and improvement that just sort of runs through all that the interns in the agency do. Key processes like the RTP development and evaluating the MMOF. I'm really appreciative of CDOT's commitment to and accomplishment in accessibility, and all that you do to develop employees in the organization as a whole, and then undertaking to make sure that what we do each time, that we document that and incorporate it into our planning. So I just wanted to say thank you very much. And I'm sorry I was late, and I hope I didn't interrupt with my microphone being unmuted. Thank you all.
And Commissioner Cook, thank you for your comments. For those of you that may not know Commissioner Cook, she's a member of the Colorado Transportation Commission, our governing body here at CDOT. Commissioner Cook, always appreciate your involvement on all the things that we do, including our internship program.
Thank you.
I have a comment coming in from the YouTube chat pane. This is again from Corey Niemeyer at the Colorado Department of Public Safety. Love OPI and working with all of you continuously. Corey, thank you for your kind comment on that. And OPI interns, again, Corey was in your shoes, 7 or 8 years ago. Other thoughts from anybody else online? Questions, comments? Could I, since there aren't any coming in, I would like to ask a question to any of our interns and perhaps all of them. What one piece of advice would you have for somebody coming in to a CDOT internship based on your experience? What is your one piece of advice that you would provide out there?
I can go ahead and jump in. I think one thing that I've learned is to branch out and reach out to other interns in different departments. It's been fun getting to meet with them and go on little intern excursions and learn more about what they do. And it kind of helps put the pieces together of how CDOT works. It's such a complex organization to learn, and it's overwhelming a little bit at first when you come in, but I think just reach out to all your interns and connect with them and talk to as many people as you can.
Thank you, Taylor. Other folks want to take that one? Go for it, Mikey.
Thanks, Gary. Yeah, I'd kind of like to add to that. I think the big thing, and I know I mentioned that in my presentation, is just really connecting with as many people as you can. So trying to talk to people, within your department, but even outside of it. I think it's just like a very invaluable just space to be, able to connect with people. And yeah, and it's
Thank you, Mikey. And Isabella, you've got some thoughts.
Yeah, so this is
That's
kind
poor thing.
of going a little off of what the two previous pieces of advice were, but just take initiative. In an organization like this, there's so much opportunity for you to kind of follow your interests, working within your department, outside of your department, with such a range of people. And everyone here wants to see you learn and grow. So just take initiative, follow what really speaks to you, and really try and make it your own.
Great advice. Thanks, Isabella. All right, I don't see any other questions coming in. Madeline, I will turn it back to you.
All right. Thank you all for the questions, the comments, and the compliments for these amazing interns. Closing up here, thank you all again for attending. In about 6 months, we'll be back for the next Intern and Fellow Report Out. It'll be held on National Intern Day, which falls on July 31st, which is a Thursday this year. So hope you can all join us again for that one. And again, just a huge thank you. Thank you so much for attending this event. We really, really appreciate it. And thank you again, interns. You all did amazing. And we're so happy to have you here at CDOT. And Dalton, happy last day. But yes, thank you everyone and have a great rest of your day. Thank you for being here.
Bye. See ya.
Bye. Thank you, Madeline. Thank you, Gary.
I am ending the stream right now.
Okay.
All right, we are no longer live. Folks, thank you. That's great stuff.